have a Zoom lesson at 4. It's for the lady who was sick at our Washington clinic, Keely, whose stirrups are so long she puts her toes down the post. So, and then I should clean the pony barn today. I have a lot of lessons tomorrow. I really don't have time to clean tomorrow, but it'll depend on how I'm feeling. Tomorrow's really busy.
Not that I'm like looking at your schedule all the time now. Like, what's the last?
You don't want to know what I'm doing.
That's why I need to know where you are. See, because if you don't have a lesson, is she a doctor supply? Is she a physical therapy?
Is she asleep? Does she have a migraine?
Does she have the house napping? I can only turn your phone on the remote. Do not disturb me.
Just go to sleep, lady.
Hello everyone, welcome to our anniversary event. Thanks for joining us today. Lots of great deals, so hopefully you guys can find some things, or maybe you already have. And give a warm welcome here to Solange.
Hi.
She's joining us today to talk to us about her stable riding system. So as you can see, lots of interesting props. We have some great demonstrators
Yes,
here.
expert assistance. Expert assistance.
So take it away, Solange. Thank you.
Hi everybody, thank you so much for coming to my stable riding demo here today. I'm going to start out by giving you a little bit of background about me and my career, and then how the stable riding system works. I have 2 expert assistants on my 2 equicizers who are going to help me demo in person different riding positions so you can see how the stable riding system will work for you. And then I hope that at the end, each and every one of you will come up and get on the equicizer and let me give you a little mini stability check so you can feel how stable riding can affect your own riding in your own body. Because feeling it yourself, I find, is really the best way to understand how my system works. So I started riding when I was 5, like a lot of little kids. I rode Western and saddle seat, and hunters and hunter jumpers and jumpers. And then at the age of 15, I made a really dramatic choice, and I decided to drop out of school and start my own horse business. So I began breaking horses to ride, training young horses and feral horses, training like the behavioral bad horses that sort of flunked out of the other facilities around me. And along with that, I began teaching riding lessons. And in the beginning, it was a lot of little kid beginners, like you would imagine. But very soon, my riding program got very popular. And I made another dramatic choice. I chose to throw my barn doors open as wide as possible and teach all riders without restriction. I had no age, weight, or height restrictions. I had no discipline or skill restrictions. I had no breed or goal restrictions. Anyone who wanted to learn to ride better was welcome at my facility. So now I'm maybe a decade or so into my career. I've been doing this for 24 years now. And I reinvested in my personal riding. I took high-level dressage lessons, started fox hunting full-time and traveling all over the U.S. in fox hunting. I also bought a side saddle, started riding and jumping in my side saddle. So now I'm maybe 12 or 15 years into my career, and I have 2 really big data sets. I have all the information from my personal riding, and I'll tell you what, if there's a thing to have been ridden, I've ridden it. And I have all the information from the really varied and diverse student base that I've been teaching for over a decade. And I combine those 2 data sets with a third thing. I have a superpower. My secret weapon, my particular brand of genius, is that when I look at a rider, I see their body instantly in lines and angles. These lines and angles tell me whether a rider's stable or not. I do this highly accurate diagnostic work very quickly, and that's how I have such a popular virtual lesson program, because people can send me still photos or videos of them riding, and we meet online, and I'm able to do the diagnostic work there. I can also project out mentally futuristically to see if the rider is going to remain stable in different conditions, on different gaits, under different motions with their horse. That's how I created the stable riding system. Everything I know about riding from my own body, all the riders I've taught, and the way that I personally see riders' bodies on horses. The stable riding system is a functional, practical, real-world riding system. The horse industry is an industry, and it's designed to generate revenue. And most of the revenue generated in the horse world comes from shows and competitions. So trainers, coaches, and instructors are monetarily incentivized to teach a position that's popular in the show ring and the competition ring. Now, do I think that my stable riding system would be good for a rider whose primary goal with their horse is to show and compete? Yes, absolutely. Because even if that's your primary goal, you still deserve to have less pain, fewer injuries, be more stable, and feel more confident. But because of the languaging that I use to describe my system, I get a lot of what people call pleasure riders, which are riders where if they do show and compete, it's maybe not their primary goal with their horse. And these pleasure riders look like this. Trail riders, fox hunters, riders with young horses or new horses, riders with horses who, let's just say, have big opinions, strong feelings, aren't afraid to communicate them. Riders who are returning to riding after a long break, illness, injury, pregnancy, lifestyle change, and riders who describe themselves as nervous, anxious, fearful, or low confident. There's another group of riders that I teach which I find particularly fun and enriching, and those are my adventure riders. So the adventure riders are preparing to go on their bucket list trip of a lifetime riding vacation. A lot of them are going fox hunting in Ireland, or they're going on a mounted horseback safari. They're going to ride horses and go elk hunting, or they're going to ride ponies in Iceland or Ireland. But some of these riders are preparing for the world's longest horse races, the Mongol and Gaucho Derbies. So for those of you who don't know, the Mongol Derby and the Gaucho Derby are the world's longest horse races in Mongolia and Patagonia. 50 riders from around the world gather in these places once a year, and they ride the semi-feral indigenous horses of that region 500 kilometers over 10 days. To date, I have taught 6 Mongolian Derby riders and 2 Gaucho Derby riders. So these 8 riders flew from all over the country to do multi-day training sessions with me to prepare for these races. And they have taken my stable riding system and field tested it on some of the most difficult riding conditions on the planet Earth. And they all report back having very little pain, if no pain at all, while riding. They all completed their races. None of them had any injuries, and several of them completed the entire race without having a fall. My Derby riders have proven, under the harshest conditions on Earth, that my stable riding system functions. I'm making it my life's mission to stabilize riders everywhere I go. What I've learned teaching all these different riders for all these years has taught me what they have in common. Everybody wants to be a better communicator for their horse. Everybody wants to be more stable and feel more confident. Everyone wants to ride with less pain and fewer injuries. Everybody wants to ride more and fall less. So that is my stable riding system. When I meet riders for the first time, whether they're on their horse, whether they're in my riding lab on one of my equicizers, if we're at a presentation or booth like this, or if I'm teaching a clinic, the first thing I do is I give the riders a stability check. I specifically have 2 equicizers with an English saddle and a Western saddle to demonstrate that the stable riding system works regardless of breed or discipline. If you're a human skeleton sitting on a horse skeleton, my system will function for you, right? So how I do this stability check is I come up to the rider, and I put one finger on their shoulder and one finger on their foot, and I apply a little bit of pressure, and I see if I can disrupt them out of the saddle. Now this is where I do my disclaimer. I'm not strong. I have spindly, pale, little noodle arms, tiny little wrists. I gave 3 stability checks in my lab yesterday, and I described myself as having pale, frail, Victorian lady wrists to just show that I'm not like Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? It's not a lot of pressure. So I'm going to put one finger here and one finger here, and I'm going to push a little bit, and I'm able to very easily disrupt Aurora forward. And you're like, well, she doesn't count. She's a shill 'cause she's wearing your shirt. She just faked that, right? Which is why I really ask anybody in the audience who rides who wants to try it out in their own body, please come and do it with me so you can feel it. Okay, kids, so I adjusted your stirrups to approximately where you feel they are all the time, right? Now you know I'm going to try and tip you. So you can't brace because that's cheating. Because also in the real world, the horse doesn't warn you. The horse doesn't go, yo, eyes up, I'm going to spook at that squirrel in 10 steps, right? My favorite one is when my horse spooks at a tree in the woods. And I'm like, who would imagine a tree in the woods, right? So I want you to just sit the way you normally do on your horse and relax like you're walking out at the end of a really great ride. Take a big, deep breath in and let it out very slowly. So do you feel how I was able to disrupt you? Was I able to move you more than you anticipated? Yeah. So I was at Equine Fair a couple weeks ago, and I had a booth, and I was supposed to do 55 stability checks, and I think we did like 75 or 80. I don't know. We were overrun. It was bonkers. I tipped every single one of those riders in the booth forward, except the 3 who had taken riding lessons with me previously. So if I tip you forward, don't feel bad. I can tip almost everybody forward. So the reason that these 2 riders were very easily displaced forward when I gave them their little stability check was they're lacking skeletal body alignment. When I teach people how to ride, I use the 4 riding factors: body alignment, weight distribution, grip point, and absorption. These 4 factors are the basis of every riding position at every gait. But riding instructors tend to not teach them, or they kind of teach them, or they sort of teach them, or they only teach some of them. And then what happens for some riders is in the beginning of their education, they miss really important basics about stability, and then they persist in riding, missing these pieces of information for years, if not decades. And then I have riders who come to me and they say, I'm not a very good rider. I don't have a good seat. And I hear things like, I'm too old. I'm not in good enough shape. I'm not very athletic. I'm not built to ride. I'm not a natural rider. And this gives me great pain because that's simply not true. Anyone that has bones can ride a horse well. And everybody I'm looking at with my eyeballs in the store today has bones. So you can all be stable on your horses too. I just want to wear a t-shirt that says it's not you, it's your instruction. You all can be stable on your horse. You just need appropriate instruction. So, how I assess a rider's stability is by looking at their lower leg. And I use these green sticks. These green sticks help the riders see themselves as I see them because they illustrate the perpendicular vertical line to the ground, which I talk about a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and put this green stick by this rider's lower leg. And when I do this, you'll see that if I draw a straight line down through her knee to the ground, her stirrup is on that line, which is putting her lower leg bones behind it. Having her lower leg bones behind the vertical line to the ground is what makes her unstable because she's incapable of accessing her stirrups as a base of support. Your stirrups are a tool that you use for support. They let you rise up, they keep you from falling forward, and they keep you from sliding laterally side to side. But your leg bones have to be aligned correctly to utilize your stirrups correctly. A lot of riders now are told to have shoulder, hip, heel alignment, to pull their lower leg back, and to put their toes straight. Can everybody in the audience who's heard shoulder, hip, heel alignment or turn their toes straight raise their hands? Right, because this is how you're expected and asked to ride in the show ring. Show ring and competition ring, they want you to have shoulder, hip, heel alignment, okay? Because that's what's appropriate and in fashion right now for the show and competition ring. Who here in the audience is old enough to remember super low-rise jeans? Oh yeah, where the zipper was like this long, right? That was an unfortunate fashion trend. I feel that most of the women who bought super low-rise jeans probably shouldn't have been in super low-rise jeans. It was a bad idea. And thankfully it passed, and then the high-rise jeans came out, and I was so happy because I'm tall, and we can just all pray to fashion Jesus that the super low-rise jeans do not come back. Because if they do, I'm not wearing them. Now, was it unfortunate that women wore a lot of super low-rise jeans? Yes. But was it dangerous? Was it prohibitive? Did it cause them pain or injuries? No. I am morally, professionally, logically opposed to teaching riders to be in a position that makes them unstable on their horse. And that's what shoulder, hip, heel alignment does. It makes you unstable on your horse. Now you might look at me and go, lady, it is my life's mission to be high point champion. I got to win the buckle, I got to win the trophy, I got to have the cooler with the thing written on the back that said me and my horse won. Then I say, ride in that show position for the 3 minutes you're in the show ring. And then when you leave, stop. A lot of us take our high heels off as soon as we get in the car because we don't want to be in them anymore, right? You can ride in the show position if you need to and you want to. I'm not going to stop you. But you have to understand that in the real world, you'll be unstable in that position. So I'm going to take Aurora's leg out of shoulder, hip, heel alignment, and I'm going to have her put her heels down. Who's been told to put their heels down? Like, legit everybody, right? You can buy your riding instructor a mug that says heels down on it. I'm going to have her put her heels down until her lower legs align with the ground. Now when I draw that line through her knee, it goes knee, leg, bone, heel. Whereas before, it was going knee, air, foot, right? So she's putting her heels down enough that her lower leg bones are aligned with the ground. The next thing I'm going to have her do is turn her toes out at a 45-degree angle. So why am I asking her to turn her toes out at a 45-degree angle? Because that's how the human pelvis opens. When you go to the obstetrician or the gynecologist, for the women in the audience, and you get a pelvic exam, the doctor pulls out of the table little metal things that you put your feet in that are called stirrups. And when you put your feet in the stirrups, your toes turn out a 45-degree angle because that very nice doctor went to like an extra 10 years of doctor school, and learned that's how the human body goes. And all the nice people who teach riding lessons, who tell you to turn your toes straight, probably didn't go to medical school. So if you suffer from knee pain, ankle pain, hip pain, if your toes go numb, if your foot goes numb, it's not you. It's your instruction, because your leg's not supposed to go that way. And for my derby riders who are going to ride 500 kilometers over 10 days, they'll be crippled. They can't ride like that. That's not sustainable, and it's not stable. So Aurora's going to turn her toe at that 45-degree angle. She's going to put her lower leg bone on the vertical line of the ground. The next thing she's going to do is she's going to push harder with the big toe part of her foot than the pinky toe part of her foot on the stirrup. Because when I move my leg away from my body like this, like Da Vinci's Vitruvius Man, the inside edge of my foot goes down. So now I've put her leg in skeletal alignment. Her bones are now lined up, they're stacked, and they're holding her up. I teach lessons in South Carolina a couple times a year. And I went down to this facility, and I had 5 new riders all in a row. Boom, boom, boom. And they were all adult women, I don't know, over 40. They had beautiful horses. It was a very nice facility. I had seen pictures and videos ahead of time of them. We'd done a talk, called on the phone, talked about their horses. And after they warmed up, I looked at them and I said, "Can you stand up in your stirrups for me?" And every single one of those 5 women all looked at me and said one of the following things, 2 of the following things, or all 3 of the following things. I am too old, my butt is too big, my legs are too weak. And this really stuck out to me because I had 5 new riders all repeat these same things to me in one afternoon. And I looked at all those women and I said, before you got on your horse, you were standing on the ground and your leg bones held you up. Your leg bones hold you up over your day. Your leg bones will support you and hold you up in the saddle. They have to be lined up. If they're out of skeletal alignment, they won't work. So now Aurora has turned her toes out, put her heels down, her lower legs on the vertical line to the ground. She's pushing harder with the big toe part of her foot than the pinky toe part of her foot, and I'm going to give her the exact same stability check. 1, 2, 3. She does not move. Take your feet out of your stirrups and do the exact same lower leg position with no stirrups. 1, 2, 3. She does not move. Put your feet back in your stirrups for me. Do the exact same position, and now I'm going to ask her to widen her feet out like this, just the littlest bit, to push her stirrups away from each other. Your stirrups are swings, you know, especially English stirrups. English stirrups swing more than Western fenders. Western fenders are a little bit more chunky. English stirrups swing around a lot because it's a metal iron on a leather loop, right? And it's fixed to a small point. So your stirrup will swing in and out and forward and back. Well, the horse keeps it from swinging in because there's a horse in the middle. There's nothing that keeps it from swinging forward and back, and if it swings back, you fall forward. So part of how we access our stirrups for lateral support is we separate them and we push them to tension terminus. That keeps them from swinging. So now that Aurora's pushed her feet out away from each other, I'm going to shove her. I'm going to shove her really hard. And I will knock this equicizer over before I'll knock her off her horse. And now you're like, yeah, but that lady came with you. So now I'm going to go to this lovely young lady, right, who did not, we met this morning, correct? I'm going to put your lower leg in the same position I put Aurora's lower leg in. And it's going to feel weird, but just try it. So I'm going to turn her toe out. I'm going to put her heel down. Her lower leg is now on the vertical line of the ground. And the cool thing about my Western riders is their jean seams make it really obvious. So now her lower leg's on that vertical line of the ground. Her heel's down. Her toe is out. Can you push harder with the big toe part of your foot than the pinky toe part of your foot? Good. Can you make that leg match this leg? Now look straight ahead. Take a deep breath in. Let it out. You didn't move, kid. Did you feel that? Now take your feet out of your stirrups. Do the same lower leg position with your feet out. Feet in front of you, toes out, heels down. You should see your toe past your knee. Ready? Now bring your leg back to have shoulder, hip, heel alignment and turn your toes straight. It's just physics. I didn't invent anything new and fancy. I mean, I guess I invented the words to say it, but I didn't give you a magical stirrup with magnets on the bottom that hold you on your horse, right? Riding is math. Riding is lines, angles, physics, weight distribution, mass, and pendulum mechanics. The problem is most women who decide they don't want to go to college, or maybe they went to horse college, most people got into horses because they didn't want to do math, right? There's not a lot of horse girls who are like, man, I wish I was not riding my horse and I was doing math right now, right? So that's probably why. Now I'm going to try and shove you sideways like I did Aurora. So can you turn those toes out, put those heels down, spread your feet real wide for me, lean back a little bit. Do you feel that? So it worked, right? None of these riders got younger, stronger, or better in the 4 minutes I explained everything to you. I just simply changed their body alignment. So for a deep seat sitting walk, when you're sitting on your horse walking, because everybody who rides walks, everybody who rides sits their walks, doesn't matter what breed, discipline, saddle, or goal you have, your skeletal body alignment should be lower leg on the vertical line to the ground, shoulder above your hips, right? So if I look at your shoulder, it should be above your hip. Your shoulder is a little in front of your hip right now. So I'm going to have you sit back until you feel your 2 seat bones. So right now, your shoulder is over your hip. But do you feel like you're leaning back? So I tell riders to lean back and put their shoulder over their hip all the time. And they all go, this is crazy. I feel like I'm leaning so far back, which is why I have mirrors. On the other side of these stands, to each side of me, there's mirrors. So when I give you guys your stability checks, you'll have mirrors so you can see themselves. Because she doesn't look like she's leaning back, does she? She's just sitting straight up and down. But because she's ridden for so long with her lower legs behind her, it's tipped her forward. So she's been riding on the front of her pelvis as opposed to riding on her seat bones. You have bones named for sitting, right? Seat bones. So if you have your toe out and your heel down, and you have your shoulder above your hip, she's now in correct, stable physical body alignment. She's also going to have good weight distribution because that's the next factor, right? Body alignment, weight distribution. For sitting your walk, it's a deep seat discipline, which means your weight's primarily in your butt. Light seat positions would be like standing, posting, 2-pointing, half seat, galloping position, right? In this deep seat position, shoulder above hip puts weight in her seat bones. Lower legs are on the vertical line to the ground. This means that when she holds her reins, her hands are going to end up right about here. A lot of riders will be on their horse and be like, oh man, I got to shorten up my reins. And they climb their hands up the reins to shorten them. And when they climb their hands up their reins, it pulls them forward. So you don't get to decide the distance that your hands come from your body, because that distance that your hand travels from your body when you're sitting up straight is based on how long your arms are. I have freaky long Abraham Lincoln arms. They're really, really, really long, and I'm really, really, really skinny. I'm like a little stick lady. So when I sit on my horse and I put my hands where my hands go, there's like a lot of room between my tummy and my hands. You could fit like a beach ball. That's not normal. Most people, their hands are much closer to their body. So if you have shorter arms than me, like a normal human, if you're a man and you have wider shoulders, if you're a woman and you have a chest. I did not get a chest. I was last in line for bosoms when they made people. But Aurora did. That's going to affect her arm position. A lot of women ride, and sometimes they have a chest, and that's okay, but it is going to affect your hand position. So for Aurora to put her shoulders back and have her arms relaxed, this is where her hands go, that's it. And some people will be like, well, her hands are too close to her body, her hands need to be farther in front of her. Well, she doesn't have go-go gadget arms. Her arms don't change length, right? It's based on how long your bones are. So I don't really get to choose where your hands go, but I can put them where it's most stable. So you have a little bit longer arms, so your hands are going to be a little bit farther from your body. Now, you're like, okay, lady, talk, this all sounds nice. How am I going to do this when I go home and ride my horse? This is how you do a self-check when you're riding. Am I in a stable position? The first thing you're going to do is you're going to make sure that you can see your toes past your knees. Because you see how when I put your heel down, you can see your toe past your knee? The reason is your foot has depth, right? So if I put your heel beneath your knee, now your foot goes out in front of you, which means you can see your toe. That's okay. That's how you know your heel is beneath your knee. So I tell everybody, first things first, do a toe check. I fox hunted for a lot of years, and I took little kids hunting. They were like 10, 11, 12. I had a 4-horse, now I have a 6-horse. And it's morning. We got up before the sun came up. We went hunting. It's 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and I would stand up in my stirrups and turn around and look at all the kids I took hunting with me, and I'd yell, everybody do a toe check! Because the last thing I needed was a 12-year-old girl in the mud, on the ground, crying in a loose pony at 7:15 in the morning. Right? That wasn't something I wanted to deal with in my day. So the first thing you do is if you can see your toes, that means your heels are down, and you turn your toes out. Cool. Then you're like, well, now I got to sit on my seat bones. And getting your weight on your seat bones involves bringing your shoulders back, and that's really hard because your shoulders don't touch anything. So riders struggle their whole life with shoulder position and top line position. Your feet, they're in stirrups, they're touching the horse, you can see them with your eyeballs, right? That makes sense. Your shoulders aren't touching anything, and you can't see them. So riders have to create a secondary referential framework to feel where their shoulders are based on how their butt feels. You'll know your shoulders are back when you feel your 2 seat bones. And sometimes, depending on the shape of your saddle, the top of your butt might touch the back of the saddle. And that's okay. That's just how the saddle's shaped, right? So you know your shoulders are in place when you can feel your weight in your 2 seat bones. Then you're going to make sure that your hands are close enough to your body that your shoulders can be back. There is a correlation in human skeletons between arm length and leg length. So if your saddle fits your legs, and both of these saddles fit these ladies' legs, that means your saddle fits your arms. You're like, now what's that tall lady talking about? If you take your arms and you drop them straight down, they should touch your saddle, which they just did. Boop, right? If you have your hands so far in front of you that when you put your hands straight down, they touch your horse, you're too far forward. Because did you see how I pulled Aurora forward? Right? So that's how you figure this out at home. See your toes, get on your seat bones, hands touch your saddle, and then you can pick your chin up. Who's been told look up? Look up, chin up. The answer's not written on your horse's head. There's no money on the ground. The instructor is not wrong. You ride better when your chin's up. But the instructor is not telling you the next piece, which is the human cranium full of your brain and your blood and your eyeballs and all the goo. Weighs about 15 pounds, which is like a whole bowling ball. So you have this spherical weight at the top of your frame attached to this skinny little neck, which is a lever. And the second you drop your chin below level, your head weight starts to go forward. Your eyes come down, your chin comes down, your shoulders around, your hands go too far in front of you, you pull your weight out of your seat bones, your toes go straight, you pinch with your knee, your lower leg goes behind you, and you fall off your horse. For me, it just gives me the heebie-jeebies. Because I look at people ride all the time, especially like hunt seat girls who are really, really show position perched, and they're cantering their horse like this, and their head is first. Their head and face and cranium is in front of literally the rest of their body. So when they fall, because all their horse has to do is like sneeze or trip or cough, like it doesn't take a lot. When they fall, they're going to land on their face. Like Marsha Brady getting hit with a football, man. And it creeps me out. I'm like, dude, your head can't be first. You've got other things you can fall on other than your actual face. And these girls are too pretty to fall on their face. Right? Y'all can't be falling on your face. You're such pretty girls. So you got to sit back. When that happens, your chin goes behind your sternum, which I think the dressage people talk about because they're very exacting, right? Now, her chin has to be on this parallel to the ground line, right? And I teach a very funny cop, and he leases a pony from me, and I yelled at him during his lesson. I was like, Craig, pick your chin up. And he just yells back, which one? And I credit that joke to him because it's good. Your chin bone, like your physical mandible, needs to be level with the ground, and yours is, but that probably feels a little bit higher than where you normally put it. Maybe you've got a good head position. So you're like, well, how do I know this? I don't have mirrors. I don't have a mean tall lady yelling at me. How do I know I'm doing this on my horse? Easy. You look all the way up. Up at like the actual roof, up at like the sky. You look up as high up as you can look. You can do it for a couple strides. Your horse has eyeballs. He'll look where he's going. And then very slowly bring your chin to level. Because now you'll know your level because you went past it and then you reset to it. So this is how I tell everybody to be stable just sitting their walk. This works for sitting your trot. This works for sitting your canter. This works for any deep seat position. If you have your stirrups, if you don't, if you're bareback, if you're in a saddle. A light seat position is different. Posting, standing, two-pointing, jumping is a different thing. And I don't have time to get into how to get into that today, but if you come up on the Equicizer and you ask me, I can show you. Or if you come to my facility in Hinckley, which is not that far from here, I have a rider lab, I have lesson horses, I can show you there. So, skeletal body alignment, weight distribution. Now we're talking about grip. What do we grip with? Well, you grip with what's available. Depending on how wide the horse is, how long your legs are, and how long your stirrups are, decides what part of your leg touches the horse. You have a following contact where, like, you don't want your legs to be bouncing, but you don't want to pinch grip super tight because then you'll get tired. So whatever part of your leg naturally touches the horse is what you're available to grip with should you need to. And what are you absorbing with? Your horse is in motion. These guys aren't moving yet. You absorb the motion with your lower back, your stomach, and then eventually you'll learn how to drop your heels in time with your horse. So the cool thing about these Equicizers is they move, and sometimes it surprises people. They don't realize that they move. So these Equicizers move. It's not a real horse. It doesn't feel like a real horse, but it's pretty close. It's the closest thing you can get to right now. Aurora is able to put her hips behind her and her hips in front of her. On the count of 3, I'm going to stop pushing, and she's going to power this motion herself. 1, 2, 3. So this is representative to like a sitting canter. A lot of riders struggle with their canter, feel uncomfortable in their canter, encounter behavioral issues with their horse in the canter. I'm going to do the same thing for you, kid. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Do you feel that? So go ahead and keep doing it. 1, 2, 3. Good. Now I'm going to tell you a little secret. If you lean back a little bit, it'll be easier. A little bit more. There you go. Do you feel how your hips go in front of you now? So when your horse travels forward and up, which means your hips have to go up and forward, which is terrible because it's like crunches for forever, right? But in order for your hips to move, you got to get your shoulders out of the way. So I'll use Aurora for an example. Sit back a little bit extra, so really drive her horse. Like she was really driving her horse past the scary corner. Your horse is like, that's the corner the tractor's and I'm so scared. So you sit way back and you push your horse past the scary corner. Now if she starts sitting up straighter and straighter and straighter, the motion of her hips gets caught. Your hips can't move. Go ahead and stop, you guys. That's just your body. You can't argue with your bones. You got to bring your shoulders back so your hips can travel in front of you. How much your hips have to travel in front of you depends on how big your horse's gait is. I have a quarter horse in my barn named Vera. Her trot is this big. She goes like this. I go, okay, ask her to trot. And she does. And then people go, huh? And I'm like, no, that's it. You're just trotting. I have another mare in my barn that's half Dutch harness horse, half Arab. And it's like an earthquake. You sit differently on different horses. That's okay. You're allowed. Right? So that's how you would absorb this. You would absorb the motion of your horse walking in your stomach, in your lower back, and then eventually through your feet. Because you take the motion of the horse, the hind end travels through the saddle, through your body, down your legs, and into your stirrups. And the motion of the horse puts your own heels down for you and readdresses your weight along the ball of your foot so you don't lose your stirrups anymore. How nice would that be? Work smarter, not harder. You have a whole horse. Let him carry you. So those are the 4 factors of a deep seat sitting walk position. Skeletal body alignment, shoulders over hips, lower legs on the vertical line of the ground, hands back close enough that they're touching the saddle to allow the shoulders to go back, chin level with the ground. What are we gripping with? What's available to us? Where's our weight distributed? Primarily in our seat bones, a little bit in our feet, if you're skilled enough to ground the motion of the horse out through your stirrups. And what are we? Oh, I lost one. Weight distribution, absorption, grip, and alignment. I think I did all of it. Well, we must be done because my brain went, there's no more words. I used them all up. That's all my words for today. So what I would like to do is answer questions and give stability checks to all the riders who are here watching. Would that be okay? Who's interested in asking me questions? Who's interested in getting on a horse? Can we do that now? Yeah? All right. Let's do our first 2 set of riders. I'll start at this end and work down because I have 2. I've got a cute kid and a nice lady who wants to try.
I brought my own saddle. Is it Western or English?
Western or English?
It's Western.
That's fine. We can put her right on this guy because I've got a girth for it. And I'm also pretty sure we're in a place with a lot of girths. I was like, oh man, what if I forgot something? And I'm like, well, I'm going to be in an entire tack shop. So they'll probably have what I need. It's like when you go fox hunting and you forget your helmet or your gloves. Somebody's got one in their trailer. You just walk around and go, do you have a boot pole? Do you have a boot pole? I forgot my boot poles. Thank you so much, kid.
It was fun.
You did an excellent job. Thank you, everybody. Let's start some stability checks. I am ready to stabilize riders. English or Western?
We both ride English.
Okay.
I know I dressed.
No problem. Come on over. Come on up, kid. So when we're looking at kids, the minimum rider mass is 120 pounds. I'm going with she doesn't weigh 120 pounds. Right. So we have to accept that at her current size, she's functioning at a loss. Right? How does that feel?
They feel really long.
Really long? Let's go shorter. I want them to be as close to your normal stirrups as possible. When children are being taught, or small women, because I have some tiny women that don't weigh 120 pounds, they're riding at a mass loss. You can't expect them to ride like a full-size adult. A lot of times riding instructors have one way that they teach, and they teach that one way to everybody, regardless of their body type. My 2 o'clock on Mondays is a guy named Jeffrey. Nobody calls Jeffrey Jeffrey. Everybody calls Jeffrey Guns. He's 6'4", weighs 230 pounds. He's not fat at all, but he's a big dude, right? Guns can canter my 15-hand quarter horse. What's your name, honey?
Sophia.
Sophia can canter my 15-hand quarter horse. But Guns and Sophia are not going to do it the same by like a lot. Does that make sense? So I want you to look straight forward. Take a deep breath in. Relax. 1, 2, 3. So do you feel how easily I was able to displace you forward? Again, we have the same issue with lower leg alignment with Sophia. Woo, my stick! Thank you, sir. When I draw that straight line down from her knee, it goes knee, air, 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 foot. It does not go knee, leg bone, heel. So just by putting her heel down, we're going to adjust that for you. So your toes are out. Can you see your toe past your knee? Can you make that foot match? Okay, look straight up. Take a deep breath in. Let it out. Was that better? So now I'm going to have you do the same thing. Put your toes out, put your heels down. Make sure you can see your toes. And now push your feet like that. Right? Because now this stirrup is supporting her. For this position to work and for you to be stable, your stirrups have to be the correct length. So what I ask everyone that I give a stability check for is in the next couple times she rides, take a picture of her from the side like this, on her horse and in her stirrups, in the normal saddle, normal stirrups she rides in, and email it to me and let me make sure that her stirrup's the right length. Because if your stirrup's too long or too short, even if you do this position, it won't work. And stirrup length is a very tricky algorithm of saddle shape, flap shape, horse width, rider leg. I gotta see it with my eyes.
What about when you're jumping? You don't usually shorten. We hear that all the time. You shorten your stirrup for the jumping position, so that.
So every rider is going to have a 3-hole range, pretty much regardless of whether they're English or Western. You have a long hole for if you're doing a lot of sitting, if your horse is really smooth, or if your horse is really wide. You're going to have a regular in-between hole, which lets you both sit and stand or post. And then you're going to have a shorter hole. The shorter hole is going to be if you've got a bouncy horse or a narrow horse. The shorter hole is where you would start doing some light seat stuff like standing 2-pointing ground poles. That shorter hole is going to suffice for up to 2 feet. You're probably only going to have to go shorter if you're jumping over 2 feet. But then that's going to depend again on the horse's gait, because some horses jump like this and some horses jump like Tigger. And if you have a really like boing horse, you need much shorter stirrups. So a lot of times people go, I'm riding Western dressage, so my stirrups will be really long. Or they'll go, I'm riding jumpers today, so my stirrups have to be really short. To which I say, stop adjusting your stirrups based on the clothes that you and your horse are wearing. Your stirrup length is based on your leg length. This is an okay length for her because this angle is appropriate. But if she was on a narrower horse or a bouncier horse, she'd probably have to go 1 hole shorter. Does that make sense, kid? Does that make sense? Do you want to feel it in your body now? Come on down.
So you don't adjust stirrup space because we're always told about the ankle, where it falls.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All that.
Doing it to your ankle gets you close.
Is it okay to get up? Like
Oh, yeah.
this?
Yep, it's fully attached. But getting it to your ankle will not make it exact. There's stirrup length it's a science. And it's
So
easiest.
it's not like, okay, just adjust it to your ankle.
No, because if you're off by an inch either way, which is quite feasible, doing it by the ankle, it can really rock your position. Too short. That was
Again,
too.
I've got the boots on, so
I'm gonna
it's
go.
kinda hard.
Don't worry about it. I give stability checks all the time to everybody you can possibly imagine. This is 4 holes longer. How does that feel? Does that feel pretty close to your normal stirrup length?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, stick your foot in. Good. Look straight. Sit the way you normally would.
Normally what I
Normally
taught
would.
you to do?
Normally like you were taught to. Look up straight. Take a deep breath. Do you have a question?
Yeah, how much deflection do you need to have for this actual stirrup length to be correct? I mean, I noticed that her legs are a little bit more bent than her daughter's.
Can I draw it?
Sure.
Her daughters are a little long. Hers are a smidge short. But I asked her if it was her normal length.
Gotcha.
I'm in the process of designing something that will slide, like a piece of paper that will slide under the rider's leg and will have like a spectrum,
Right.
but I haven't made it yet.
Okay.
It's only in my head right now.
Thanks.
Talk to him. He's an athletic trainer.
Oh, uh-oh. Wives are always like, here's my husband, you just take him. Okay, are you ready? Take a deep breath in, relax. You aren't as stable as I would like you to be.
I know.
Right? How much do you weigh?
About 120.
Right, so you're just skirting that maximum
Yeah.
by not a whole lot. And you're tall for your height. So I might have a rider who weighs 120 pounds, but they're like 5'10", and they weigh 120 pounds. That's a lot. That's less mass stretched over like a really long axis. Like when you get the teenage girls that look like little ramen noodles with helmets on, they're more easily displaced than somebody who's like big and strong. Like there's a big, strong gentleman right there. A horse would have to do a lot to get you off. He's like, well, we call that gravity discipline at my house. I'm like, where's my big guy? I got to put a big guy on this horse. And after 20 minutes, they're like, all right, I guess I'll be good. All right, so you're leaning too far forward. You're sitting on your vagina.
I know.
You got to stop. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing
I'm glad you pointed this out.
Stop. I was in Washington State, and I taught a joint clinic with my co-instructor for the long-distance endurance end-of-year conference there, and I had 22 riders. And I had 1 hour of 11 riders and 1 hour of 11 riders. And, man, you talk fast. I'm like the guy at the end of the car commercials, like trying to teach these people. And my second group was all women. And I had each one stop in front of me, and I went, you're sitting on your vagina, to all 11 of them. And I'm like, please stop. She's an important woman. She's got jobs to do. She has things. Riding a horse is not one of them. You have seat bones, bones named for sitting. You should sit on them.
There we go.
Toes out, heels down. Yeah, stop sitting. Oh, man.
We'll start that
And the
slogan.
stories I've heard from long distance riders who do ride too far forward, in the lady situation, curl your hair, man, the things I've heard. And then the weird advice they've then subsequently been given. One lady was told to buy a McClellan saddle with the hole in the middle so she could just stick it in there. I'm not kidding. Do you know what her problem was? Her stirrups were 4 holes too long. 4 holes. She rode 50 miles. Oh, can't even think about it. Okay, toes out, heels down, lower leg on the vertical line of the ground, sitting on your seat bones. Look up straight. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Do you like falling off your horse?
No.
Then you should stop riding like
That's
that.
why I'm here.
Yeah. Now, take your feet and press them out a little bit from left to right.
I'm going anywhere.
Yeah, you have to access your stirrups as a base of support. The problem is the instruction that they're currently giving you tells you the opposite. Aurora, can you handle all of our stuff? I'm going to have Aurora give you my card, a pamphlet, and can I have you email me a side of both your stirrups? This is your saddle.
Yes, it is.
It fits you.
Yes,
Do you like it?
I do.
Is it comfy?
Yes, it is.
Cinched all the way so we can.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's cool.
My question too is whether my stirrup length is proper.
What kind of horse do you ride?
Tennessee Walker.
They're a little short. Do you sit mostly? Do you post? Does he trot? Some walkers trot, so I have to ask.
No,
He
no,
gates.
She gates.
And you're in a full deep seat the whole time while she's gating.
I would hope so.
You're like, oh, that's why I bought a walker, was so I didn't have to pick my butt up. Your stirrups are a little short. But then again, your heel's not down. So when you drop your heel down, this knee angle opens. Did you see that? So that's the complication. It's a lot of angles. I bought a giant protractor, because if you Google giant protractor, you can just buy one, but then I realized I didn't know what to do with it.
I can show you.
I'm like, I should actually like learn. So, yeah. Yeah, when you put your heel down like that, and you could ride your walker with like your feet like out in front of you like you're water skiing.
But not that.
Well, maybe back, because for a horse to gait, they're high head carriage. So he's got to pick, she's got to pick her head up to swing into that gait. So you could be, depending on how fast she's going, you could be as far back as here.
I have been.
Okay, how's
And it's
it?
comfortable.
Well, then I think that's what you should do.
Okay.
Horses have balance points, like pool cues or violin bows or like knives, kitchen knives, right, swords. Every horse balances out at this really specific head carriage versus speed, right? But sometimes we go, well, you're a quarter horse, so you should put your head down, or you're a dressage horse, so you should do this, or you're an Arab, so you should put your head here. But we can't really decide that, just like I can't decide how far from your body your arms go based on, or your hands go based on how long your arms are. We can't tell your horse that's the wrong place to put your head when you're balanced. It's based on their skeleton, right? So your horse is going to need to bring its front end up. So when you bring yourself back, their hind end goes under them, their front end comes up, they go the right speed, and they'll be smooth as glass.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
And it's based on how fast she's going, how high her head is, right? When you put your heels down, your knee angle opens more. When you pull your legs back like this, your knee angle closes, and then your stirrups are going to feel too short. Because when you, right? So in this position, feel how stable you are?
Yes.
Now bring your leg back underneath of you. Ready?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We did this, Aurora did one of these at Equine Affair. I was on one side of the booth. And the lady on her equisizer yelled, "Shut the front door!" really loud. And I was like, whoop, somebody learned something. You should see your toes all the time. Yeah? Does that make sense?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, there you go. It's physics, man.
So, but even leaning back, because I don't want to sit on the part of her
No,
spine.
no.
No.
You're sitting on her spine the whole time. There's no part of her spine you're not sitting on. Her spine goes from here to there.
Correct.
So if you're sitting on her, you're sitting on her spine the whole time. So when people are like, you can't lean back because it's bad for the horse's back,
Yeah, that's
is a stupid thing to say.
Okay.
So you can just ignore that.
I'm glad.
The
I'm
next
gonna
time
ignore
someone
that.
says that, you should go, I'm going to really think about that. That's what I tell people to do. Just go, I'm going to really think about what you said. And then just don't do it.
Wonderful.
I do that all the time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, sit
Big
back.
difference.
Because she's a high head carriage horse.
Yes.
She's uphill. So you got to sit back to let her get uphill. When you force yourself to sit here, you're driving her forehand down, and it's making it more difficult for her to do her job.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to have Aurora make sure you get my card.
I did take one
Good.
already in your brochure.
You're going to email me a picture of you like this,
Oh,
so I
great.
can check your stirrup length on your horse.
Wonderful.
Sound good?
Yes.
Pinky promise?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Good.
Oh, thank you so
Who's next? Who's next? Who wants to get... Yeah! Do I have any English riders? Okay, I'll take you because you're an English rider. You hop up here. That's a really cute dog. What's their name? Ah! Finnegan! You know, that suits him. He looks like a Finnegan. That's so cute. Do these feel like your stirrups or do they feel a little short?
More or less.
Okay. Look straight ahead. Deep breath in. Relax, breathe out. Yeah. I'm going to go out on a limb and say you're probably over 25. Okay. So 25 is your cutoff for falling off a horse. If you're under 25, you can fall off a horse. I don't care. I don't even get up. I'm sitting in my chair with my coffee. You're 18, you fall off your horse. I just go, hey, you should have leaned back. I don't even stand up. But after 25, it gets real, man. Now it's heating pads and chiropractors, and you need the Flexeril, and where's the good Excedrin? You know what I'm saying? 25 is the cutoff for falling off a horse, right? I believe that she's probably at least 30. So we're past that. Now, in my barn, I have what I call my Fabergé egg riders. My Fabergé egg riders, I really don't want to drop because something bad's going to happen, right? Now, my Fabergé egg riders tend to be mature, right? Because as you get older, the chance of injury goes up. Now, when you fall, the repercussion is too great for you to fall. I had a lady come into my lab yesterday. I met her at Equine Affair. She drove up from Columbus. She has 2 hip replacements. She's 81. She's going to start riding. And I'm like, you really need to not fall off because a nice man or lady gave you 2 new hips, right? You can't mess that up. So for my Fabergé egg riders, I'm a little bit more conservative. I mean, really defensive, but that has a negative connotation. So I say conservative with my advice. Horse type, tack type, body position, activity, and stirrup length. If you're 70, I don't think you should probably get on your horse bareback. Just probably don't. You're 70, you don't need to. If you're 18 and you want to jump 2 feet bareback, I'll Snapchat it for you. Give me your phone. We'll put it on Instagram, right? So I'm going to put you in a position where you're much more stable because you probably shouldn't fall off. I have a girl who's younger than me. She's in her early 30s. I'm going to make her stirrups longer. She's in her early 30s. She had 2 terrible car accidents and has a bad back injury. She's younger than me. But because of this back injury, she's a Fabergé egg rider. And it wasn't even a horse industry, you know, but it altered the structural integrity of her body. And now we need to make sure that she doesn't fall off and hurt her back, right? So if you feel like you would put yourself in the Fabergé egg rider category, let me help you, right? Don't be getting the same instruction that the 16-year-old showgirls are getting on their off-the-track thoroughbreds. It's not appropriate for you. So I've made your stirrups a hole longer so that you can put your foot in front of you a little bit better. So now you're going to put your lower legs on the vertical line to the ground, which I can now see because of the seam in your jeans. Turn your toes out at that 45-degree angle and push harder with the big toe part of your foot than the pinky toe part of your foot. Toes out, heels down. Now I'm going to, you're riding on your vagina. I tell this to women and they go, I know.
I do know.
And I'm like, stop. Just stop. Everything. All the time.
But I don't think we're told. That's the thing. Like,
That's gonna be my next T-shirt.
they just don't. But they don't just specifically
Stop. Right. I'm known for a very particular brand of truth. Okay, so you're looking up. Big deep breath in. Big deep breath out. Isn't that so much better?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, feet out wide, left to right. Look straight up. If you're in this position and your horse trips, falls, bucks, rears, spooks, shies, you're going to be stable. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yes. Centrifugal force whip you off like a salad spinner.
Yeah.
The main thing too with the spin is you got to keep your hands down. If your hands are up, you're going to come right up because you've pulled weight in your top line and you go right off. So when you're riding a spinner, keep your hands like really vehemently down. So this is my regular deep seat position, right? Shoulder over hip, lower leg on the vertical line of the ground. I had a position that I had named something I can't say in public, the O position. Fill in the blank. Whatever word would come out of your mouth. It's probably the one I had. And then I started talking about it on Facebook and I was like, ooh, HR. I need to get a different name. So I called it the 911 position. The 911 position resonated really well because everybody knows, oh man, it's the event of an emergency. But then riders from the UK started Facebook messaging me and going, I Googled this 911 position and all I found were Porsches from the Porsche 911. So I changed the name to the stable position. It also, I feel, empowers riders to just do it when they want more stability in the saddle, even if something's not going on in their environment and their horse hasn't acted out yet. If you're riding along and you're at the trail and 4 horses back, that lady's Appaloosa bucks her off and goes bolting past your horse and you're like, uh-oh, now my horse is going to buck and I don't want to fall off because I'm at the park. You're going to put your feet extra far in front of you and you're going to lean back as far as you can like a bull rider. That's going to keep you on really far back. Really far back. Now, do you ride around like this all the time? No, just like you don't walk around in full fireman gear all the time. But if you want to not fall on your face, you got to sit back. Now, the cool thing, too, is if I give her reins and she has them, like, not too terribly loose, right? Now, tighten your fists, tighten your arms, feet in front of you, lean back. She pulls her horse's head up with the leverage of her body. So now if your horse is tripping, sliding, or falling, and you want to be like, hey, dude, it's okay, pick your head up. Or if your horse is like, I'm going to buck you off. I'm going to drop my head and spin. I'm going to drop my head and bolt. You can be like, nope. And she's catching the horse with her skeleton. And she's tall. She's got a lot of leverage. She's not trying to catch the horse with her arm muscles. Because you also have noodle wrists. Yeah. Right? You, sir, can sit on your horse and go, whoa. The horse will be like, okay. Some of the time. Depends on the horse. But when I started breaking horses for a living, when I was 15, I weighed 120 pounds. I am 6 feet tall. I weigh 145 now. That's how skinny I was. I wasn't stopping horses with my arms, but I was long, and I understand levers, and I'd be like, nope. And that horse would go, okay. Right? Does that make sense? I'm going to ask you to do what I ask everybody to do. Pinky promise that you're going to email me a picture of your stirrup length.
Okay.
From the side, just like this. Okay. Because your stirrup length has to be correct for you to be able to access the position I just taught you.
Okay.
And then can I preload another English rider?
I have my own saddle.
Oh, yeah. You come first, and then we'll put your saddle on. And then are you English or Western?
I ride with Chris Lamafelt bareback hat.
Okay.
So whichever.
Probably that one because it's more flat. You know what I'm saying? These are so long, man. How's that feel? Close to like your normal?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What kind of horse do you have? What's their name? That's a good name. What color?
She's chestnut.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Look straight ahead. Deep breath in. Let it out.
This one stays at the mouth.
I gotta wear a GoPro because the faces people make crack me up. She was like, I got faced. I got fully faced like in the office.
Yeah, because my friend sometimes will push me forward if I'm in my chair.
Well, because they've been taught. Your friend's like, you're supposed to have shoulder hip heel alignment. So she's like, be in shoulder hip heel alignment. You're like, but I don't want to wear those low ride jeans. Right? So. Toes. Can you see your toes past your knees?
Yeah.
Give me a little bit more. Yeah. Sit back so you're sitting on your butt bones. Look straight ahead. Breathe in. Breathe out. Right. Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be pretty cool if you didn't fall off your horse?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not enough.
Especially when she speaks in schools.
Oh my God, I had a horse that was so terrified of chipmunks, and I fox hunt and trail ride full time. He was so terrified of chipmunks, I traded him for a really ugly pony to my friend who did show ring stuff so that he could be in a show ring where there was no chipmunks. To this day, I have chipmunk PTSD. I'll be riding a non-scared chipmunk horse and I'll jump, and my friend who I trail ride with is like, the chipmunks, and I'm like, yes! I'm like, you don't understand, it was a hard couple months. He just needed to be where no chipmunks were. Like, I couldn't like ride in like a spider forest, so I don't blame him. Yeah. Okay, so now toes out, heels down, spread your feet out, lean way back for me. 1, 2, 3. You're just using your stirrups. And if you're like, I don't need stirrups, I don't want stirrups, I'm not going to ride with stirrups, okay, cool. But if you're going to put your feet in them, you might as well use them. And you look pretty cute. And I'd be sad if you fell off. This is a really cute kid. She shouldn't be falling off her horse. Isn't she adorable? Oh, no way! Happy birthday! Mom, see, that's mom rule. You're lucky I don't have a sombrero and a big cake. So I'm going to ask what I ask everybody I give a stability check to. In the next couple weeks, take a picture of her on her horse like this and email it to me so I can see her stirrup length.
I know, I was going to bring your saddle with.
That's okay. The picture will work. Pinky promised me. You're going to send me? Yeah?
Yeah.
And any questions, email me. Okay? Because she's very young. She's very cute.
Really close to you. We're in Medina.
That's amazing. You can come by the lab. We would have a great time.
Yeah.
It was really nice meeting you, kid. Happy birthday.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes, you can.
So, I'm one that needs to use a lot of lug on my horse.
Yes.
So, would he have to get used to a new riding position?
Nope. Nope. So if you've got like a push ride, like you've got a horse who's like, I could just lay down and sleep.
Yeah.
Like this meeting could have been an email. You know what I'm saying? So it'll actually, this leg position will help you because there'll be higher contrast for when you use the leg. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I'm going to have you come down for 1 second and then I'm going to put you right back on again. I'm not stealing your time, kid, so don't go far.
No, it's all right.
So if I'm on my horse and I'm doing my leg position the way I am, my grip is going to be with my calf, and the entire bottom half of my lower leg is coming away from the horse in like a crescent moon shape as I put my heels down, which takes my heel off and my spurs off. And now my horse is like, I'm going to lay down and take a nap. And you're like, dude, we're not home yet. We're not buying a house here. You got to keep going, right? Now you're going to use leg aid. So I can straighten my knee and then come straight back, use my leg till he responds, take it off. Use my leg. When he responds, take it off. So now I'm pushing the go button, he goes, and I take my finger off the go button all the way. What happens with those horses is that you're constantly urging forward because they're like, oh my God, I'm dying, I can't walk another step. is you're just doing leg and doing leg and doing leg and doing leg, and then they just tune you out. Like when you nag your husband. Right? They're like, she's just, doesn't matter anymore. So now you're actually desensitizing your horse to your leg aid, making it more difficult for you to apply driving aids. Right? Whereas if you could be fully off when he's going, and then fully on when he's not, and then fully off when he's going again, he might actually start to hear you. You know? I tune in when my husband says, horse, money, vacation, and our kid's name. That's when I'm like, oh, I should be paying attention. And the rest of the time I'm like, because that's how you stay married. Climb on up. Can't listen to all of it. That would be a terrible idea. 1, 2, 3, jump. Does this feel like your normal stirrup length, or does it feel a little long?
It feels a little long.
It felt okay for me, and I'm taller than you, so I believe they're a little long. Yeah, I have all of Frankie's info too.
Yeah, I can afford it, but I was just saying,
that feels
I said it would be nice to have this at home to practice and ride and exercise, to get
I've been
some of
seeing
this.
these all over Instagram and like, I need one.
They're super great.
I was like, I need one so bad.
Frankie's amazing. He's in Norwalk. These two live in my rider lab. I'm in Hinckley, which is not particularly far. Okay, so put yourself in the position you're normally in. Look straight ahead. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Just like a sad noodle. Right? So, the minimum rider mass, the minimum ideal rider mass is 120 pounds. And you weigh
100.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're functioning at a loss, right? Now, some of the best riders I've ever taught to ride. I'm really tall. I rode here on a comet from the planet Amazon, right? But I teach a lot of kids and I teach a lot of short ladies. And I think I'm as good as teaching a short lady as I can be without being smaller, right? Some of the best riders I've ever taught to ride were like 5'1". They weighed like 120 pounds. Those were riders I would have taken with me to Ireland, put them on a horse behind me, and fox on a 5-foot stone walls and not look back. Because riders who have less mass have to ride with a higher level of technique. Riders who have more mass can kind of ride like a soup sandwich because they're just big. They don't need as much technique, so they never get it. Tiny women, when they learn how to ride well, make the best riders. The best riders are tiny women. But they have to be high-level skill technicians, which means they need to be given the appropriate instruction. Remember, it's not you, it's your instruction. So, toe out, heel down, lower leg on the vertical line of the ground. Sit back on your seat bones. Stop riding on your vagina. Tell me about it. Stop doing it. It's a bad idea. Okay, look straight up. 1, 2, 3. Right?
Yep.
So, you're riding your horse up to a fence, and your horse is like, I don't want to jump that. You should be here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Past the scary corner, the tractor started. It started raining. Her horse is being bad. You're in the warm-up arena, and it's just like nobody can drive. Right?
Yep, I know all about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's environments, right? So, I'm going to ask what I ask everybody. Pinky promise. In the next couple weeks, take a picture of you on the horse in the saddle that you're normally in from this and email it to me. Okay. And let me check and see if your stirrup's the correct length. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me before you fall off because you're too cute to fall off a horse.
I've already fallen off 3 times.
Okay, well, let's just stop doing that.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? You were really unstable before, and because you're so light,
It makes it a lot.
the horse does not have to do a lot to disrupt you.
Yeah.
That's just math. Make sense? Awesome. Come on down. Do I have another English rider? The lady with... I'm going to get to everybody. Don't you worry.
Raising her hand.
I'm going fast. I'm going fast. Are you an English?
Yes.
Okay.
Questions before I even get on.
You're like, I'm going to need the full rundown. I'm going to need to know all the things. I need a negative coggins. Okay, look straight ahead. 1, 2, 3. Lower leg on the vertical line of the ground, which I can tell by your seam. Toe out, heel down, chin up, come back, back, back. You're riding on your vagina.
Okay.
Stop it.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
I think I sit normally kind of like this, and this is not good.
Yeah, because your stirrup is pulled to the vertical line to the ground by gravity, and then you're just setting your foot in it passively, and it's pushing your lower leg bones behind you. So you have to engage to displace your foot in front of you. Yeah, everybody says heels down.
Yeah.
You know, I get riders from other facilities, and I go, has anyone ever told you to put your heels down? And they're like, yeah. And I go, has anyone ever told you why?
Got it.
And then there's just crickets.
And so your heel is not back here by your hip.
No, because then I can just knock you off your horse whenever I want.
Yeah, don't try.
And the horse is like, oh, thank God she fell herself off. I didn't even have to work.
So is this the right lean right here?
Because your shoulder is over your hip. Can you feel your 2 seat bones?
Yes.
Then you're doing
And
it
I
right.
feel like I'm leaning
Back like Monty Python Ministry of Funny Walks. You feel like you're reclined in the dentist chair.
But I'm not.
Because for
straight.
decades,
Yeah.
you've been pinched forward from your waist on your vagina.
Right,
Your
right.
boobs are pulling you forward.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they're whispering.
And
you.
plus,
They're
I
like,
was taught you're supposed to hands are supposed to be out.
Oh,
here.
yeah, no,
So
how?
and my arms are short.
You can't reach around your titties.
Right.
You just can't.
You're funny.
You just can't.
Yeah.
So not only are your hands going to have to be back, your hands have to be wider.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because if I was like,
And I usually just neck ring.
yeah,
so
if I was
usually
like,
just
put your
one
hand out here, you're just like, okay, let me just
Yeah,
fall
'cause I was
myself
told
off my
it's supposed to
horse.
be up in front of the horn.
Yeah.
And
I could.
To do that, I have to go like this.
Yeah, and I can do that, but you can't do that.
So if I'm leaning back like this,
Yeah.
and neck reining, it's
I
just
have
gonna be-
super long arms and no
Yeah,
boobs.
I have-
You have T-Rex arms and big boobs.
I have short legs,
It's
short arms.
different.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you can't ride. You just can't ride like me. That's silly talk, right? You got to ride like you.
Yeah.
And instructors have one thing they tell everybody, and the riders whose bodies happen to fit that instruction, oh, they're good riders. And the riders whose bodies happen to not fit that instruction, they'll never make a rider.
Right. Okay.
And I'm like, do your job that they're paying you for and teach them how to ride a horse. Am I still mic'd up?
So this is the good thing.
Am I still mic'd up? Okay. Hi, everybody.
In all the vagina jokes, yeah.
Okay. We'll just be like,
Anything
Yeah.
else I need to know?
just mostly that to start. Ride like this for a little bit. And then you can email me and say, I did that, now what's next?
And are we going to be able to watch this anywhere?
I asked the lady with the camera. That's a really good question.
I'm
mic'd
put it
up.
on Big D's, yeah.
Right. Yes. Oh, yeah.
Very good. Where's my stuff?
Right there. I got you, fam.
So usually look before I get off.
Can I preload a Western rider? Yeah? Hop on up.
Hi.
Hi. Are these your usual strip length?
I ride in 2 different saddles depending on the horse. So yeah, I would say yes. This is pretty close.
Okay, look straight ahead. Take a deep breath in. Relax. More than I would like.
Yeah, more than I would like to.
Well, we're in agreement. So, again, you have set your foot passively in your stirrup. So it's going knee, air, 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 foot. And it needs to go knee, leg bone, leg bone, leg bone, heel. Right? Which also lets you get your calf on. Do you feel that?
I do, but it also feels like my knees are way away.
Your
from
knees
the-
are going to be away from depending on the horse's
That's
width
so weird.
and your stirrup length. You want to pinch with your knee. So if you're told to pinch with your knee,
From sitting over there, how far your
it's
knee
going to depend
comes
on
away.
your stirrup length, your horse width. This is a super flat flap saddle because it fits everybody. So if you had like a giant like knee roll, it would be less obvious. But yeah,
I usually ride, well, in 2 saddles. A gating saddle for the Tennessee Walker.
Yeah.
And a Wintec dressage saddle for the Perch on Frisian cross.
yeah.
So, but I just trail ride, and I do the adventure ride.
Yeah.
So I've ridden Portugal, Belize, Costa Rica, and Sicily. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds beautiful.
All right, so.
So, toes out, heels down, pushing harder with the big toe part of your foot. Do you feel how much you roll to the outside? So now because you've been pinching with your knee the whole time and turning your toe straight, you're rolling onto the outside of your foot.
That's right.
And look at when I do that with my ankle. Look at that. You look like the lady in The Exorcist with like the creepy ankles. You don't want to do that.
No. So more pressure. Wow, that's huge.
Now sit back. Off your vagina. Now that I know I'm mic'd up. Talking about vaginas. Okay, are you looking straight ahead?
I think so.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, wow. What a huge difference. I mean, I can't even.
I'm pushing like hard.
That's
just
awesome.
physics.
Yeah, you're right.
It's just physics.
Wow.
And I can't argue with gravity and I can't argue with your bones.
Right.
You know? And people will go, but proper equitation, you're sitting too far back on the horse, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you don't want to fall off.
I don't want to fall off.
In a foreign country, you don't want to fall far away from your trailer, you don't want to fall off on rocks.
I fell off in Aiken last year and broke my back.
Oh yeah, so you're
I have
definitely a
back
Fabergé
issues.
egg
I know.
rider. My concern with your Wintec dressage saddle is it's going to have a very straight flap and a large thigh block that's going to prevent you from putting your foot in front of you.
Okay.
That saddle might be making you unstable.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Because
does.
dressage saddles, the flap comes down here, and then there's a big thigh block. Because the dressage saddle, here, take your foot out for me. The dressage saddle is going to want you to be here.
But it's removable.
Good.
You know, it's the
Yeah.
Wintec, so I can un-Velcro it. So maybe I'll consider doing that.
Yes.
Think so?
I'm worried about that.
I want one of your cards. Maybe I'll see if I can come down to a clinic.
I would really like that.
Instead of emailing you, maybe I can just come to you.
Yeah, I am. It took me 27 minutes to get here.
All right, I'll get off with somebody else.
But I would like definitely stirrup length.
It's a little longer. I was telling her I'm having a saddle.
Yeah.
And I'm that saddle. I started as
Well,
an English
we
rider.
should really talk about that,
Yes,
shouldn't we?
We should, because I started as an English. I've converted to Western because my horse has kissing spines and a bad back.
Yeah, that's
And
fine.
yeah, so my struggle is I can ride all day long down the trail. I'm confident as hell. I take him into the arena. I can't ride the second half of the arena because every time we go down there, we come back and he's like, oh.
Oh yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And I want to do dressage work to get him into, better strength. But then I'm powering.
If
in the
you're
arena.
unstable,
Yeah.
he can't move.
Yeah.
Balanced beneath you. Everybody talks about how the rider has to be balanced. The rider has to be balanced. The rider has to be balanced. The horse has to be balanced. The horse's feet are on the ground. Your feet are never on the ground. You have to be stable so he can be balanced.
Yeah.
Okay, look straight ahead. Sit the way you normally do. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. That's why you don't want to ride at that end of the arena. I wouldn't want to ride that end either.
Exactly, because that's exactly what happens.
Yeah, a lot of riders who have nervousness, fearfulness, concern, anxiety, worry, they look at me and they go, well, I'm worried when I canter on trail. And I'm like, you should be. If your stirrups are the wrong length and you're unstable, yeah, I don't want to canter on trail either. 75% of riders' concern, worry, anxiety, nervousness, fear dissipates when they're stable. Because the reason they feel that way is because they're unstable.
Yeah, and I'm severely unstable.
Yeah, let's fix it. So look up, bring your hands back, sit on your seat bones. Good. Toes, heels. Can you see your toes past your knees?
Yes.
Good. Does that foot match?
Yes.
Look straight up. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Now I'm going to push really hard. Feel the difference?
Yeah.
So now imagine your horse is like, I can't go down there. That's where the ghosts live. They're going to eat my face.
So I just go in.
And you're like, there are no ghosts. Take 3 steps forward and I'll give you a cookie. And then next week you're riding at that end of the arena. Right? The thing about being stable on your horse is when you're unstable on your horse, you're offsetting your safety in your emotional state to your horse's behavior. This horse can't spook. This horse can't buck. This horse can't trip. This horse can't bolt. This horse can't jump that puddle or refuse to go in that corner because I'm not stable. So now I'm relying on my environment, my horse, who, bless their hearts, they have little brains, to keep me safe.
Well, and my horse feeds off of my energy, and if I'm always anxious.
Right, of course.
Shit, you're anxious.
Right. Stop expecting your horse to make you stable. Stop offsetting the responsibility on your horse. They're not capable of giving you that. It's not fair. And it'll ruin your relationship with them. Stabilize your own body. And then when your horse does have a moment, a big feeling, a fear, a concern, a worry, a surprise, you can communicate with them clearly. The only time you really need to actually really ride your horse is when they're upset. Right? In the moment when they're like, oh my God, that's going to eat me. That's so scary. That surprised me. Oops, I fell. What just happened? That's when you need to say, hey, dude, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. But that's the exact second where we retreat into ourselves and panic cling. And then because the horse had a big feeling and we abandon them in that feeling because we're not stable, the horse goes, I don't trust you because I came to you with my big feeling and you abandoned me. Because they're basically like kids. Horses never get past 3rd grades. They're all big 9-year-olds. So however much you can trust a 9-year-old boy who doesn't want to be in social studies class to self-regulate emotionally is about how much you can trust your horse. Right? He needs help.
Yes.
And you can't help him if you're just trying to not fall off. So if we get the staying on part sorted, you'll be able to communicate to your horse, and instantly he'll feel better, you'll feel better, everybody will be happier. but we really need to keep an eye. We need to look at your saddle.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have Aurora talk to you.
Okay.
Make sure that everybody gets their information.
Okay.
You can send me pictures, or you can come book a session with me in the lab. Bring your saddle. We'll put it on my equicizer. We'll line up all the mirrors and the sticks.
Okay.
And we'll do a diagnostic.
Okay.
Sound good?
Sounds great. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Hi. This is your cute English saddle. I love it. I love Bates. They make such nice stuff. Okay, so this is your normal saddle. This is your normal stirrup length. I haven't made any adjustments to your leg position, correct? So you're going to look straight ahead. Deep breath in. Deep breath out.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
But I think you suspected that.
Yes.
So the reason is, again, your lower leg bones are behind the vertical line of the ground. It goes knee, air, foot. It needs to go knee, leg, heel. So we're going to put those heels down like we mean it. We're going to turn our toes out at a 45-degree angle. We're going to push harder with the big toe part of our foot than the pinky toe part of our foot. You're going to sit back, not on your vagina. Big takeaway. Big takeaway from the day. Look straight up. Deep breath in. Deep breath out.
Yep.
And push hard. That's about all the strength my little noodle arms have.
Okay.
Feel the
I
difference?
do feel the difference. They're so ingrained to be
Yeah.
like that.
Yep.
The 100.
Yep. I am logically, ethically, morally, and professionally opposed to instructing riders to be in a position that makes them unstable.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I can't feel my seat bones.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting on them.
Well, when your lower leg comes back, your knee pinches,
Yeah.
it tips you onto your vagina.
Yeah.
You don't feel your seat bones, and now you're forward all the time,
Right.
which means you're not going to be able to use any of your weight aids. Your weight aids aren't going to land.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to sit because you can't mobilize your pelvis beneath you. So you sit back, lean back, lean back, lean back, lean back. Feel how you have full range of motion? Now start leaning forward. Feel that? Now lean back again. Come back even more. Come back more. There you go. Good.
So I really feel really far back.
Yeah.
So,
You feel crazy far back.
yes.
But you're just straight.
I'm just straight.
Because you've been 2 to 3 inches in front of the vertical line to the ground.
Yeah.
So when I put you an inch behind the vertical line of the ground, that is a 4-inch shift,
Wow.
which I think my protractor can also do. But like I said, I don't know how to use it. I was most of the way to the protractor idea. I'm like, this will be great, and I'm like, no, I don't know what to do with it.
That's why I can't hear that well.
That's
Because
why
I'm
you can't.
driving
Oh
forward.
yeah, and then you're also driving your horse's weight on your forehand.
Yes, and
So
he's very much on his
you're
back.
pinching with your knee, your lower leg's going back, you're leaning too far forward, you're dropping your weight on your forehand, he's unbalanced, you're going to get poor quality transitions, dropping his inside shoulder, he's going to have more difficulty picking up a lead, he won't be able to sustain his gait, and behaviorally you'll get more bucking and bolting.
Right. And
Because
he-
the
he
horse is
resists
like,
a
get
lot.
this off me!
The transition, I think, because I do get
Oh,
too far
yeah.
forward, and then I get tired because I'm working so hard.
That's totally, yeah, that's all wrong.
Yeah.
Because he needs to be able to lift his forehand up to bring his
Right.
inside hind leg under him to power that. He can't do it if you're riding over the back of his head like a demented yarmulke. You got to get off that horse's head,
Yeah. Okay.
right?
Yeah. That's,
This stirrup looks pretty good
you think so?
on the equicizer, but the equicizers are quite narrow.
Okay.
They're pretty
I'm an
narrow.
off-track thoroughbred.
So I'd like to see you in the saddle on this horse.
Okay.
So, like I ask everybody, pinky promise, send me a picture of you on your horse from the side so I can look at your stirrup length.
Okay.
Okay? And then I'm nearby in Hinckley if you ever want to come in for a lab lesson.
I'd love to do something at some point.
I think you really should. Because I think that you have everything you need to ride well. I think it's just out of battery.
Yes, and I have severe lack of confidence from a couple of falls.
That's what
and
pisses me off.
lots of fear now.
Because it's not your fault. You had poor instruction. And it's gaslighting you into thinking you can't ride.
Yeah.
Bullshit. I hope I said that quiet enough it didn't come up on the mic. They're like, we're going to have to cut the whole second half out. Okay?
All right.
Do you have all my stuff? I'm going to give you all my stuff.
I have the
Aurora.
The arthritis just isn't going to let me do it.
Aurora's going to make sure you have everything.
Nice.
Okay.
Don't have to worry about spooking.
This is your saddle.
This is my saddle.
You
And I
ride.
don't want to be in the emergency room like I was 7.5 months ago with a broken back. That's why
Yeah,
I'm here.
let's
and I've
make
had
some
a broken
changes.
hip, and I've had a hip replacement.
Yeah.
I don't need, and I've fallen on that hip at least 3 times already.
What are you just wilding out over there? What are you doing?
Yeah, a spooky horse.
Okay, well, let's stop.
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
So you're very base narrow. which means that not only are your lower legs behind you, but your lower legs are curled under you. Does that make sense?
That hurts the knee.
Well, can I lengthen your stirrup a hole?
Yes. Denise says, no, you're not going to do that.
Do you want it in English or Western? That one? Okay, give me 1 second.
And I have this on because
Can I go down another hole?
okay.
We don't have to worry, your horse isn't going anywhere.
No.
Your stirrup needs to be long enough. Here, take your foot out. Can you do this? This is the position that's going to keep you on. So let's just do it with your feet out. Take your other foot out. Sit back. Put your feet in front of you like this. Toes up, heels down.
Wow, that really stretches the inner thighs.
Well, because you've been scrunching.
Okay.
You've been pinch gripping like a lemur to keep yourself on your horse. So these have been
tight.
But when you scrunch in, you scrunch up. It's like when you take a clothespin and you go like this, and you're pushing yourself up off your horse. You're literally pushing yourself up off your horse when you do that. So if you get your feet down and out in front of you, lean super far back, lift your chin up. Do you feel that? I'm going to put more pressure.
Yeah.
Do you feel
I
that?
feel it on the thighs.
Now put your leg back scrunched under you where it was.
That's why I have that green thing to pull the stirrup out.
That's smart.
I can't bend the ankle to get it in.
So now your legs are in your stirrups. Now look straight ahead.
Yeah. Very easy.
Yeah. So you need to find a stirrup length that will allow you to get your foot where it needs to be.
Go down one more.
Probably. What kind of horse are you riding?
Rocky Mountain.
Okay. Gated?
Yep.
Do you sit the whole time?
Pretty much. Except that she's a little trotty.
That happens. So if you're in mostly a deep seat, I'm going to have to see if I can pull this a little bit. If you're in mostly a deep seat, you can have slightly longer stirrups because you're not having to post as much. Can you get your leg
yeah.
There you go. That was 3 holes.
3 holes.
So your stirrups were 3 holes too short.
So this is how I should be riding them.
Yes. Now, Now her knee angle is kind of open. You can see.
It doesn't hurt.
But if I make it any shorter, I think her knee is going to hurt. So we're just going to have to go with this is just what we get. And she mostly sits. She's not standing or posting, so it probably really doesn't matter that much.
Oh, that's awesome.
A little uncomfortable.
If you turn your toe out, and make sure that you push harder with the big toe part of your foot than the pinky toe part of your foot, it'll align your leg bones. If you turn your toe straight or roll to the outside of your foot,
Seems like you have a
it'll
lot
hurt
of
more.
pressure in there.
What are you staying on with?
Wow, a lot more pressure than just
Riding's
sitting
not
there
a
like
passive
this.
sport.
Yeah.
You can't just sit there. You've been just sitting there, and it's gotten you injured.
Yeah.
It's time to safen up.
Wow.
3 holes is a big change.
Yes, it is.
Are you having fun at the little mini booth, Sarah? This was what Equine Fair was, but just for so many days. So many people, so many days. I would like to give you a lab lesson. I would like for you to come to my lab in Hinckley with your saddle and give you a full lesson.
My horse?
No, I would teach you on one of these
One
to
of
start.
these. Okay, start. So like this?
Yeah, now lean back. Yeah!
Okay.
This will
Wow,
keep you on your
that's
horse.
different.
Uh-huh. But now feel. Push down on your heel.
Yeah. My knee is going to have to get used to that.
Not necessarily, because the fender will move. Here, go ahead and take your foot out for me. The fender will come forward as much as she needs. And this, will move as much as she needs, and this moves this way. So she's not getting trapped in any way. The saddles that put people in unstable positions are dressage saddles because they have these super straight flaps and these big thigh blocks that shove their thighs back and they can't get their foot in front of them. But pretty much any Western saddle you're going to be able to perform this position in. It's the dressage saddles that are the most unstable. And the dressage people are the least willing to hear me out. They're very committed to their aesthetic.
Boy, the knee would have to definitely get back. Yeah. That's my saddle sister. She's the one that watched me fall off the last time.
She's got to stop falling off. She's got to stop.
And they did their best to not go off.
She's got to stop falling off. So her feet have to be in front of her, and she's got to sit back.
Yeah.
She's got to put her feet in front of her. She's got to sit back. Otherwise, she's going to fall off again.
There's going to be a lot of stretching on these inner thighs. A lot of stretching.
Yep.
So tight.
You're allowed to be. You're allowed to be sore. You're allowed to be sore. Like I use my muscles. You can't be in pain. If you're in pain, something's out of alignment. Your legs can complain. They can be like, we've been riding for, X many years, not like this, and this is different, and we don't like it.
Yeah.
You can be sore. You can feel like you exercised. You can't have pain. And I talk to so many riders that have ridden for years or decades in pain. They're like, this has hurt for years. And the women don't advocate. They don't go, this hurts. Oh, just do it more.
And also not used to feeling...
You've heard that.
I'm not used to feeling that.
You bought a saddle with a giant ass ledge to put your
I
ass
couldn't
on.
find any smaller.
You're tiny. But here's the thing. This is now when you put your feet in front of you. When she puts her foot in front of her and she leans back, she's braced herself from her stirrups to her cantle. Now you've wedged yourself in.
Uh-huh.
Stop falling off your horse.
I'm telling you, it looks much better right now.
Really? But it just, does it feel so uncomfortable?
It is so different.
Well, because she's ridden for years,
Oh, I know.
scrunched and curled.
50 years. 50 years.
Yeah, we're not going to do 50 years of muscle memory
Yeah,
once.
once.
You need to make her come to one lab lesson with me.
Well, I'm going to come because I don't have an issue with my horse being bad.
Yeah.
But my body's sore too. And if you could make me more comfortable,
I
I would be so happy.
I
I've had too many breaks.
wager that I can eliminate at least 50% of your pain.
Well,
Even 50%. Even 50% would be great.
definitely.
She might need physical therapy for her knee.
Yeah, she won't be, I know her, she won't be able to get the stirrup in.
All right, let's get off of this.
You're like, that's enough of that.
Yeah.
This is the other part, just getting off.
I'm going to spot you.
Yeah. Oh, push it, push it. Well, doesn't want.
Are you sure you want me to?
Yeah, it's not gonna hurt. It just. All right. The hip's just not.
I usually push a ladies' butts on their horses. I'm usually pushing ladies on. Do I have another Western rider? Yes, are you a Western rider? Aurora, can you put the Fabtron on for this nice young lady? You're going to go with Aurora. She's going to swap out saddles.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I'm a Fabergé.
You're a
I had
Fabergé.
two hip replacements and pins and plates and
Okay.
an ankle.
Well, let's tighten you up, right? So, look straight ahead. Is this where you normally keep your leg, or did Aurora adjust it for you?
No, this is really, I've been trying to work on sitting on my seat bones when I'm riding.
So you're not too bad.
Okay.
Your lower leg's on the vertical line of the ground because your heel's down. But now I'm just going to have you turn your toe out a little bit. Right? I'm going to have you turn your toe out a little bit so that you're on that 45-degree angle, and I'm going to have you push harder with the big toe part of your foot than the pinky toe part.
Push forward.
Yeah. You're a tiny lady. Yeah, but you're not very tall.
I'm short.
Yeah.
That's why, wait a minute, let me adjust this one.
The good news is that within your petite, but within your height, the majority of your height's in your legs. So you're going to have a lot of weight in your lower butt, which is good. Yeah, right. This is not terrible. What kind of horse do you ride?
Well, I had an Arab for 28 years and had to put her down
Yeah.
last
May, the first horse I ever owned, and I bought a 2-year-old there when I was 30.
Yeah.
So now I have, of course, a debate whether it's a foxtrot or,
Something gated.
well, no, foxtrot or a walker, and I think she's got Arab in her too.
Do you sit? Do you post?
She's 8. No, we mostly trail ride.
Okay.
And then with my Arab, we did like team penning and just
Yeah,
fun,
just fun stuff.
Fun.
Yeah, just being a horse, horsing around.
Yeah.
This doesn't look too bad. This stirrup length is a little long.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you what I ask everybody over the next couple rides.
I have a lesson set up with you.
No way!
But I just didn't know
Well,
whether
sweet.
I wanted this or on one of your lesson horses. And I think
I would
up
start.
here, I think I could do a lesson.
I would start. Let's bring your saddle,
Yes.
and let's start on one of these and get you adjusted in the saddle. And then if we answer all the questions, then we just walk over and pull a horse and tack a horse up.
Okay.
See what I mean?
Okay.
So a lot of times I start in the lab, and then if we are like, okay, good, then I'll put you on my 28-year-old Arab.
Oh, wow, good. I love that.
And then if we start in the lab and you have more questions, then we can dig in. We can do whatever we want.
Because I think eventually the horse, my boyfriend bought him like as a package deal, a Tennessee Walker, who's really nice, and then her, she's 8 years old, but I don't think she's as well trained as I let on.
Right.
And now, even though she wants to get away from that other horse all the time, the other female, it's like when you go trail riding, you can't go off. And then there's an argument. And I need to work with her more on that, but then eventually I think I want to bring her up to your place because I'm just like, I overthink things.
We're going to sort you out.
Is that right? Is this right?
Right.
Is that right?
Well, those are all factors that need to be
I know.
correct. But we'll sort it out. But the first thing is let's look at you in your saddle.
Okay.
That's step 1. And then let's look at you in your saddle on a different horse. That's step 2.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Hi, kid. How are you?
Good, how are you?
All right. So is this about your normal stirrup length? Okay. Look straight ahead. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. So, again, the stirrup is hanging straight because gravity just pulls your stirrup down. And then you put your foot in your stirrup and then you just set it there and you didn't do anything else. So that's pushing her lower leg bones back. Do you see that? And then, of course, if her instruction has been turn your toes straight, have shoulder hip heel alignment, it's making her unstable. And it really bothers me when it's kids. Like if it's like a grown man and he's like, no, I want to have shoulder hip heel alignment. I'm like, okay, dude. But like when it's cute little kids, I'm like, come on, it's a cute little kid, you know? So look straight ahead. I'm going to put your lower legs on the vertical line to the ground. So now it goes knee, leg, 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 heel, and your heel is down. Your toes out at a 45-degree angle. You're pushing your heels down. I want you to push a little bit harder with the big toe part of your foot than the pinky toe part of your foot. And can you make that leg match this leg? You'll know you're doing it right when you can see your toe past your knee. Now look straight ahead. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now I'm going to do it really hard. Now I'm going to do it really, 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 really hard. Feel the difference? Yeah. If you're riding Western, are you sitting most of the time? She can sit her trot like this. She can sit her canter like this. If you look at guys who ride in the rodeo, if you look at guys who ride in stockyards, if you look at guys who ride like on the range, like professionally, dudes who are like, it's my job to ride a horse. I can't fall off because I don't have any health insurance. And I spent all my money at the bar last night. Hi, I'm mic'd up. This is the lower leg position that they have because they're like, I don't want to fall off. When I go fox. So,
Yeah, I ride it.
look up. Lean back from your waist. Lean back, lean back, lean back. Chin up. Lean back more. That's a pretty big gait. And her hips are able to follow the saddle. But her hips have to move with the horse. And that happens when her shoulders are back. She's also a little slouchy. A little whoa! Every time I teach a teenage girl, they grow like 6 inches. They're just in a hoodie. And it's just a hoodie. And then I'm like, sit up. And they're like, and I'm like, where did all that kid come from? It's like a magic trick. Pick your chin up. Ah, yes. So if her shoulders are here and her feet are stable, she'll be able to mobilize her pelvis with her horse. If she pulls her lower leg back which pinches her weight up and causes tension to go up her femur into her hip flexors and pinches here. And then she's like, I'm going to buy a house in Slouchtown. How old are you?
13.
Oh, so she won't wear a coat too, right? No coats, always slouch. This isn't my first rodeo. So now she's here. Now I'm going to move the equicizer, and I want you to try and move your hips in this position. She can't move her hips with her horse, right? Because she's trapped. Her hips can't move. But when we do this and we do this, and now her hips can move. It's like her skeleton. We can't argue with her bones. You can slouch all day long, but you really can't slouch on your horse because it'll make you fall off. You know what I mean? If you slouch in history class because it's boring, you're not going to fall on your face. But if you slouch on your horse, you're going to fall on your face. And you're so cute. You're only 13. You can't be falling on your face. Does that all make sense? I ask everybody, send me a picture of her in her normal saddle on her usually horse with her stirrup length and email it to me. Do you have my card? These are horse treats. That's my card. Here is my brochure. Take a picture of her on your horse from the side, because for her to have access stability in her feet, her stirrups have to be the correct length. And if they're a little long or a little short, it won't work. And it's something I really have to see with my eyes because it's a very specific algorithm. Does that make sense? You're adorable, kid. She's really built to ride. She's got the legs for it. Yeah. Just don't slouch and put your feet in front of you. Sound good?
Better. You lengthen that one.
We have to talk before we even start.
Oh, shit.
Not oh shit.
Why? What?
I've fallen twice.
Okay.
I'm not even supposed to be riding right now because I fell and broke my arm.
Okay.
Bad.
Okay.
I broke my ribs. I don't have a horse right now because my horse died, and I just bought. But right after I bought my new horse, I was looking at another horse for my husband. Fell off and broke my arm, so I haven't even ridden him since I tried him out.
That's perfectly okay.
And
I would rather put you in the correct position
right
before you ride that
that's
horse.
number one.
Okay.
Number two, I have scoliosis.
Yeah.
And what happens is every time I've fallen off, I always go to my side, this side, where I'm crooked.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And the saddle just goes, and I go, and we go.
Yeah.
We got to find something that will, because I'm 77, going on 78.
Wow, you do not look 77 like at all.
I am.
She does not look 77 like at all. You should just not tell people that.
I tell
You could have
people
told
that-
me like 63 and I would have been like, okay.
I tell people that because I do have problems with my back.
Right. Well, yeah.
And I have
I
knee
teach so
replacement.
many riders in their 60s, so many riders in their 70s. I've taught multiple riders in their 80s.
Okay.
It can be done. It just has to be done logically.
Right.
We have to make good decisions.
And I have a 5-year-old gypsy right now that's being trained.
That was a big decision. The 5-year-old was a decision. A decision was made.
And my trainer will not let me get on him.
Good. Let's not for a little bit.
That's what she said.
Hey, the good news is the horse only gets older, and ideally you should get better. This is why when I look at my riders who are in their 50s, 60s, and 70s, I go, you should be a better rider in your 70s than in your 60s, because you just rode for 10 more years. They're like, I'm not as good as a rider as I used to be. And I'm like, that's not how that works. You should get better as you get older. I'm a better rider now at almost 40 than I was in my early 20s.
Well, you don't look 40.
We should be friends.
I thought you were in your late 20s.
I'm turning 39 in July.
God bless you.
It's
my
the manure.
child.
It's the manure. The manure keeps me young.
But now with me, it's the Clarence products from the drugstore.
All right, so
All right, so what are we doing now?
you're putting your heels down enough that your lower legs are on the vertical line of the ground. You're turning your toes out, and you're pushing harder with the big toe part of your foot than the pinky toe part of your foot. You're going to look up with your eyeballs. You're going to sit back. You're riding on your vagina.
Well, this saddle's too small. My ass is too big.
You're okay. Scoot forward, scoot forward. It's not. English saddles are based on thigh length, not on butt size. This saddle fits you. Now you're sitting on your seat bones. Do you feel your 2 butt bones? Mm-hmm. That's where they go. You should be sitting on those. Okay, now you're going to look straight ahead. You're going to take a deep breath in. You're going to take a deep breath out.
More?
Look how hard I'm pushing you. And you're not moving. Do you feel that? Now, if I put you here, and I put you back on your vagina, and now I do it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Right?
Okay.
You're a Fabergé egg.
I am.
We can't drop you.
I call myself Humpty Dumpty, but besides. You know, you put me back together again.
I had a lady who used to go, I got a bad case of lead butt. She's like, I'm trying to post, but my butt, it's just I got lead butt. And then it took me a couple months to realize that meant that she was not leaning far enough forward from her waist to transfer her weight onto her stirrups. So I was like, oh, you got the lead butt. Took me a while, but I decoded it.
Okay.
This is how I would like to start.
Okay.
You come to my barn, and you ride in my lab on my equicizers.
Okay.
Right?
I can do that.
And we with the mirrors and the sticks, and we take video. And your husband's going to teach me to use a protractor, and it's going to be great.
Okay.
Right? And you're going to learn appropriate positions, and you're going to learn strength on these. And then when you're ready, I'll put you on my oldest, calmest school horse. He is 28 years old. I've had him since he was 1.
Okay.
He goes 3 laps, and then he has a mandatory old man walk break, and he gets a cookie. He's union. Right?
Yeah.
And then that's how we're going to do it. You can do this, but you have to do it logically. And you have to make good decisions.
Okay. Now, is there anything I can do to balance my bod because I lean like that?
It's really not that bad. You don't really lean like that much. It's not that bad.
See me stand.
The one thing that we might end up doing, because you're slightly crooked, is you might end up riding with, so let's say you curve to the left on your horse. You might ride with your left stirrup 1 hole shorter to help drop you to the right.
Okay, because I lean and both times I fell off, the saddle went.
Right, because you pulled it. Yeah. We're going to fix you up.
You got to.
This is fixable. This is all fixable. We can make a lot of progress. Right?
Okay.
But please do not get on a horse until you come see me in my lab. Do not let her get on a horse until she comes and sees me in the lab.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Sound good?
Sounds like
Aurora's going to make sure you have all my info.
You can feed your finger with your butt, and we can do everything. You got it.
Okay.
Hi.
Do these feel like your usual stirrup length?
You know, I want to say, yeah, real
Close enough?
Yeah.
Good enough?
If not, just a little bit longer.
Okay. Look straight ahead. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. So I didn't move your upper body very much, but I moved your lower leg an amount.
Absolutely. I didn't know you were doing it. I'm prepared.
You're not supposed to be prepared because the horse doesn't prepare you.
You're right. You're right. Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take your lower leg and I'm going to put it forward like that, right? Toe and heel. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Ready? Toe and heel. You should see your toes past your knees. You should turn your toes out. Put your heels down. Good. Now sit back. Sit back on your seat bones. Yes, now you're straight up and down. Yeah, you were saying your vagina.
Yeah.
Stop!
And I can feel.
Why is everybody doing that?
Teach their own.
It's the weekend.
Right.
Pick your chin up, sit way back. Shoulders over hips. Push your feet in front of your heel first. Uh-huh. Yep. Yep. Now, obviously, this isn't how we stand. This isn't how we post. That's different. That's a light seat position.
Yeah.
But for your regular deep seat position, like you're just walking along, sit back. You should see your toes past your knees the whole time. That's how you know you're doing it right.
It's really weird. That's so
It's different. It's not how anyone. I have no lack of job security. Every rider looks down, sits too far forward from their waist, has their hands too far in front of them, pinches with their knees, turns their toes straight, and pulls their lower leg behind them. Universally. I mean, all of them. Like, I can't go on Instagram because it's all I see with my eyes and I get a headache. So like I'm not. It's not. I have there are plenty of riders for me to stabilize. It's
And
both.
it feels like you're off balance, like to stop your horse, slow your horse down. It would always be deep sea,
Yeah.
legs forward.
Yeah.
So it's,
So now if you want to stop, you just go from here to here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now you're just here. Which really the horse feels this because look, when you do that, his head moves. Watch his head.
right.
Your horse can hear you because you're sitting in a way that they can feel you. So it has relevance. Does that all make sense?
Sure does.
I would like you to do what I ask everybody. Pinky promise. You're going to send me a picture of you on your horse from the side. She can be.
Kind of bulky.
She doesn't have to be clean. You can be in a hoodie. I don't really care. Don't dress up. It's not a cocktail party. Just the next time you're on a horse, have somebody take a picture of you.
Okay.
Because your stirrup length is based on horse width. This horse is very narrow. Perhaps your horse is more rotund. That could, that could adjust. That could affect
the length, right?
Yeah, so I need to see that exact combination. I need to see you in your saddle on your horse.
Okay.
Because I can adjust you the correct stirrup length for this guy, but this isn't who you're riding, so I need to see your horse.
Gotcha.
You just email me a picture and go, this is me and my horse, how's my stirrup? And then I go, too long, too short, blah, blah, blah. Right? Because that's the piece that I need your horse for.
This is so weird because I keep going
Well,
back to this.
Yeah. She's a busy lady. She has very important things she does. She has jobs. Riding a horse is not one of them.
Yeah.
You have seat bones, bones named for sitting. It's their job for you to sit on. It's not your vagina's job. Stop asking her to do things that aren't her
take
job.
a break. Just take a break.
Yeah, just relax.
Stop being fabulous.
Yeah,
Just-
you can't.
Yeah.
Let somebody else drive for a little while.
All right. Okay, so wait. Repeat then what I need to send you.
A picture of you from the side so I can see her stirrups. You email it to me. Okay. And then if you have any questions, you let me know. You got it? Yes, I am. Mm-hmm. I'm in Hinckley.
Okay. Yeah,
It was
I
like-
looked you up after equine.
Yeah, right over there.
Okay.
I would start in the lab.
Okay.
I would start you in your saddle on the lab so we can look at all your different bits and pieces.
I would appreciate
And then I
that.
can move you on to a school horse of mine that's more representative of how your horse moves.
Okay.
I got an Arab, I wouldn't put you on the Arab. I got a nice Percheron crossmare, I'd put you on that.
Okay.
Same head carriage, same sort of gait. Probably taller than the Happy, but the same width.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful. Okay. Do I call like
Email.
to
You just
schedule
yep.
initial?
Yep. Everything just goes right to that email, man.
Oh, wonderful.
It was really nice meeting you. Stop
to meet
riding
you.
on your vagina.
I know.
That's going to be my next t-shirt.
I'm kind of thinking I need to see a therapist.
I go to work every day for one funny thing to happen, and you were today's. That was funny. I have one, but she's 6. And you might not want to ride that one.
She's almost 9, my new horse. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Send me the picture. Let me know.
I absolutely.
You two are so cute. How did just the cute kid machine just push the button and cute kids came out? How would you even? You wake up this cute every day. Just wake up. You don't do anything. You don't put like cute goo on your face. You just come out this cute. I can't.